jump right into it as soon as if Thor and Justin are good to go. Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, Sean, take it away.
Paige, hello.
Hello.
It's a cold, wet night at the Riot, or advantage, or produce some kind of tactical advantage.
Yeah, I think honestly we were like, okay, if we're cold, we know they're colder, being from San Diego. So that was definitely an advantage. But I think running out of the tunnel and seeing the fans who stuck around in the hail, freezing cold rain really gave us so much energy. We had one of the best warm-ups I've seen in a long time. So that was really fun, and credit to our fans for giving us that boost, that momentum.
So I have to ask, what was the difference in the warm-ups?
I would say we were just sharp. We were confident. We were keeping possession really well. And then we went to goal. It was like all goals just placing. So that was really good to see and a good feeling going into a game.
Does a wet pitch change things tactically?
You don't need to smack it upper 90, just like Nina's goal. I mean, she did smack it. Don't get me wrong. It was great. But just kept it low and hard, and that will go in.
9th minute, you guys get on the board, and it was somewhat of a dummy from you. You kind of... I'd call it a dummy. Yeah, walk us through that, because Yanni receives it and then does what Yanni does.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I saw that it was coming off the switch, and I felt like the defender was kind of in between us. So I just thought, all right, I'm going to sell this and let Yanni do what she does. So, yeah, I did a little fake to get the defender to move a bit towards me. And then she was open, made her, and I was like, Yanni, you're best when you don't think. So just be you and be decisive, and that's what she was tonight, and that was really great to see.
Well, so I'm going to have to ask you then to get into her head, because you asked her not to think. But usually it's a worm burner from her that goes far post. Tonight it was a bit of a chip that skipped. Sheridan couldn't obviously collect that.
Right.
I'm going to ask you to be a psychoanalyst on this, but do you think she meant to chip it because of the conditions, or do you think that's just the way the ball kind of came off tonight?
For sure. I think, honestly, left foot, for her, it's going to be more of a curler, so it wasn't like a chip, a curl, back post. But, again, I think she knew the conditions, and just really happy for her.
So Mina's not here to brag about her goal. It was kind of a scrappy moment in the box, and then just a quick reaction. From your vantage point, because you're right there, what did you see, and how did that play out?
Yeah, it was a throw-in from Yanni. I received the ball, just knew we had to turn, and we had numbers in the box. And then I believe it was me, someone else, I can't remember who, and Mina, and it just bounced, and Mina took it first time, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a quick strike. I'll ask you this. What did you guys get right tonight, and what do you see as improvement for the last 2 matches on the season?
I think, what did we get right tonight? Honestly, it was a tough game. I think there was a lot of things that were out of our control, but I do think we tried to get everything we could in our control, you know what I mean? But, it really stings, that result, you know what I mean? Especially to score the first goal and to lose at home, and we've been on such a good run, so it's disappointing for sure, and, this one hurts, definitely.
So soccer aside for a minute, tonight there were other things being showcased. Pink scrunchie night, 1,400 scrunchies. Is that the most you've ever distributed? Is that a record?
I think so. Which honestly, thank you to the club. They just really have empowered me to be me, and just have helped me and bought into it. Some people could think it's silly, but the club really just has put value. Awareness was huge, and gives it even more meaning, which is honestly at the end of the day what's most important to me.
And if you wouldn't mind, for maybe the fans who aren't familiar with the pink scrunchie, can you give us some background? Because it's definitely not anything silly by any means. Yeah,
I mean, I started wearing a pink scrunchie early in my career, and the silly part is, it started with my mom being like, oh, I can see you better with your pink scrunchie. And then in addition, I've had, my aunt was affected by breast cancer. I've had friends with moms, aunts, just who have, had to deal with it, have lost very important people in their life. So it's something that means a lot to me, and it's just a perspective of, this is a game, and, I do think it's a bigger platform. It's rain or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, I have to say condolences to you and to anybody else who's been impacted by breast cancer, but
thank you.
And also thank you for all that you do in terms of bringing attention to it. I'll just ask last one. 2 matches left. What are you personally looking forward to, or what do you hope for with the last 2 matches for this club?
Yeah, I hope that we really just focus on our process. When we did that for the past, I would say for these next 2 games, I really hope that we focus on our process and just play free, and then we can end the season with our heads held high. Yeah, thank you.
Sean Stetson, anything from you? No?
Yes. Sean Stetson, KSL. Sorry.
That's okay.
So I believe with this loss, you're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Can you just reflect on the season that this club has had, and what do you hope to gain from these last two matches?
Yeah, I think, being fully transparent, our first half was rough. We had a lot of people injured, myself included. I think we were adjusting. I think there was just a lot that wasn't going right, and it wasn't fun. But second half of the season, the resilience that this team had and the work that our staff put in to give you the team that you see in front of you today, that's what resiliency is, and that's a club I'm proud to be a part of. Life will knock you down sometimes, but it's how you respond, and I think our club has done that, and I know confidently going into next year as well that we're going to keep building from here. We're not going to do this again where we start out rough and second half we are great. So, it's definitely a learning curve, and just
All right. We'll go ahead and get started with Sean Rand. Fire away.
Hey, Kate. Sorry, right here.
That's okay.
So cold night at the Riot on the pitch.
I think, honestly, the vibes were pretty good. Music on helps. Just trying to stay loose, I had a snack to make sure I was still eating, and so I would be full by kickoff. But, yeah, I think the girls were good and ready, and I think we showed that coming out of the gate in the game. I think the first 15 minutes were great, and then after that, just not good enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd agree. We'll come back to the ninth where the goal started for Utah Royals,
Yeah.
but first part of the match, your pressure was
Yeah.
high and was energetic.
Mhm.
What seemed to change? Was it San Diego
Yeah.
warming up into it? Was it something else?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think when you play against like a keeper like Sheridan, I think she isn't their extra man in the build. She's always going to be a +1 for them. And, if we're not 100% accurate with our press, then it's pretty easy to break down when you have a keeper like that. It's the same with us. Like, we like to use Mandy a lot, and we almost encourage the press because that allows us to play through it. So I think they started to adjust a little bit, and we're able to get out of our press really easily. And then I think we just stopped being super brave in the build, which I thought was really successful for the first 20 minutes. So I think those two things really hurt us in the end.
And maybe this is a question for Jimmy, and maybe this isn't even a fair question that no two matches deserve to be compared, but
Yeah.
how do you feel like it was compared to last week's match? Do you feel like there was
Never happens again. So I think overall, performance-wise, especially coming out of the second half, being down, I think we got the goal back. We did well. So I'd say performance was better. Just the result didn't match.
Your compatriot's not going to be here tonight to brag about her goal, but Yanni just seems to be on a tear from that. It feels like
Yeah.
that spot repeatedly.
Yeah. It's like deja vu over and over again.
Yeah,
but
what more would you say about Yanni and her
Yeah.
strike from that spot?
it's with her left foot, so I'm like, well, that's your weaker foot, Yanni. It's not looking like your weaker foot. No, it's been really good to see her, grow into that every game. Then it's definitely a risk we're willing to take. And yeah, it's been really fun to watch her grow in confidence and really see her quality shine through, because I think she's a great player.
Mina also won't be here to brag,
Yeah.
and she proved tonight that soccer players probably have the quickest reaction time
Yeah.
of any athlete. Did you have much of an angle? Could you see?
I saw it. Yeah, I was right behind it. So I saw it the whole way. And I was like praying that she took it off the bounce, off the volley, and she did. And yeah, Mina's been such a rock for us, such a quality, 6 goals on the year. Is that right? So from a 10, that's,
Season.
yeah.
What do you hope to get out of those last two matches and
Yeah.
show to the fans?
Yeah, I think just what you said, show to the fans that, what we've been putting in the last 8-9 weeks has been worth it, and that we're going to fight till the very end, and start planning for next year, and hopefully, have a very successful season next year. So that's all we can do.
Go ahead, Sean Stetson.
Hi, Sean Stetson, KSL. Can you reflect? It's been a while since this club has lost an actual match. Can you reflect on the club's unbeaten streak
Yeah.
and what it's meant to you this year?
I think it was just a testament to the work the girls put in. First half of the season, super disappointing. We knew it wasn't good enough. So I think that July break, we really made a decision that we're going to go back to ground zero and we're going to start from scratch. And it doesn't matter what we did in the first 6 months. All that matters is here and going forward. And I think we showed that. I mean, 8 matches unbeaten is extremely hard to do in this league. So yeah, it's something we should be proud of. But again, we're here not making playoffs, and it's just the overall season hasn't been good enough. So I think just taking those lessons from the second half and bringing them into next year and hoping that next start can be much better than the first one.
All right. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and start with Sean Moran.
Coach, a wet, cold night on the pitch tonight at the Riot. Just your assessment on the match. We'll start with that.
Yeah, disappointing. I think we put up a good fight. I think first 15, 17 minutes were actually really good. We pushed them completely back, create some opportunities to score as well. And I think we just gave up 3 goals today. I didn't see outplayed opportunities that really caused a lot of damage, in my opinion. I think you just give 3 goals away in a way that shouldn't happen. I think at halftime we really highlighted the press, because we got outplayed in the opponent's half immediately, which helped us to move forward again. We knock ourselves back into the game, and then a lost cross goes into the goal, and then it becomes really hard. I think if you score 2 goals in this league, you should at least get away with a point, in my opinion. So I think that's a lesson we have to take. We have to make sure that if we score 2, that it's at least enough to get a tie out of the game. And it's been twice that we play San Diego, twice the same score and twice the same way of ending a game, in my opinion. Not necessarily being less good than them, but just offering them 3 points. And I think that's just a disappointing part about today.
Bondage
Of the analysis, because obviously you have film, you have data, you have everything, but there's also the context of the player. So I just asked them, like, look, what are 1 or 3 words that you would bring to the table if you want to talk about the game against Chicago? And I think it was uncharacteristic. So I think we made it immediately clear, like, if you're saying this, like, what do we have to do towards the weekend? And before entering the pitch, I think my message was quite clear towards them. It was mostly about weather, bad weather, and knowing that it's going to be a tough game, but actually it's a great opportunity to show this crowd what we're about. It was a great opportunity to show the people that came out that we want to fight, we want to pull up a fight, we want to win games, we want to really get at people, and I think that's what we wanted to do. And I think first 15, 17 minutes were really a good example of how we actually want to show up, especially playing at home, for the people that showed up in this weather. So I think when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to DNA, that needs to be a part of us, that we can be scrappy when necessary, but in a good way, obviously. And I think that's what we wanted to do. So when it comes to comparing this game versus the one of Chicago, I think we played a better game. Probably could have won the game, could have tied the game, and I think against Chicago you get away with it, in my opinion.
I have to ask, the fans probably are interested to know, Naria left the match very gingerly and went directly
The ball and got a second contact or something. That's what I heard. I think when we're doing this up, I think it was we work with a light system. Green is ready to go. Yellow, we start warming someone up, and we'll see. And red is like straight up, and we got a red straight away. So I think we'll have to assess what happened. From the looks of it, she looked fine after the game, to be honest. But again, like, it could be the impact. I think we subbed her earlier on this season as well as her an impact. So it might be just a reaction on how things go every now and then. But all credits to Po as well, coming into a second half like that and showing up the way she did. I think she's appreciated for the work she puts in, and she showed it again.
I wasn't able to hear the reason for your yellow card. What was the cause for that this evening?
It's been quite 2 weeks, hasn't it? No, I just think first half was a foul on Paige around the box that didn't got called, and she admits the 4th official comes to actually apologize. She said, like, look, admit it was a mistake. Lundqvist makes a foul on Chloe, doesn't get a yellow. Admits they made a mistake. There was another one in the first half. And the second half, you give away a PK, which in my opinion should have been a yellow for Dudinya. And then the same Dudinya in the action after kicks up Yanni in the box and kicks up Yanni at the sideline. So I just thought, like, look, people get away with 7-8 mistakes, and my hands were too high, so that's why I got the yellow. And I just told them after the game, like, look, you have to understand, if you admit making 4 or 5 mistakes during a game, you have to understand frustrations and emotions as well, because I don't think we as coaches are allowed from an organizational point of view to make 4 or 5 mistakes. But if you're going to have that influence on a game, you should own it as well. And I think it's just too easy sometimes to give the coach a yellow and to walk away and your hands were too high or this, but what are these people getting away with? Like, next week they're just doing the same, and I think that's just the unfair part of it.
And maybe in some way your yellow card is kind of symbolic of the way this team is scrappy, as you mentioned. Lots of good passion. How do you hope to see that passion come out these?
I don't as well after that 1-0 where I was really encouraging. Like, that's what they need from me as well. They need my behavior on the sideline to kind of lining them up, and I think that's what we're going to do the next 2 weeks as well. We give a day off tomorrow just to recharge and to make sure that we rest as well from a mental point of view. 2 disappointing weeks, but at the end of the day, we don't have to forget where we were, let's say 4 months ago, where we're at right now. I think San Diego is happy getting 3 points here, didn't expect getting 3 points here, and from the looks of the game, maybe didn't deserve 3 points. So I think that's a huge step that we made, and that's what we have to be proud of. But I was talking to Lyle Prasniker after the game.
Hi, Coach. Sean Stetson, KSL. So you needed a win tonight for your club to keep your playoff hopes alive. Can you just talk about the season you've had? Your players mentioned that the first half of the season didn't go so well. Can you just talk about your season as a whole and what you look forward to for the next year?
Yeah, I think we play a team that needs 3 points to stay in the playoff zone as well, and I think that's the context of this game as well. I think first half of the season, a lot of things happened that are probably unforgivable. You cannot lose that many games, not in the way that we lost the game. So I think what we did in June was really coming together as a staff, and for us that wants to run. And Mina, we found a player that wants to be found in the build more and wants to be given decisive end passing. Recovering page, we found energy, and we really started connecting the dots and started connecting players and their qualities. And I think that's the biggest change that we made throughout this season, is going away from I'm Jimmy, I want to play this way, and here's the tactics, and just go with it. It's more like, okay, I had this idea of football, but can we? Are we in the right position to? Do we have the right weapons to? And I think that was the biggest change we made. We tuned down on a few of principles. I think we're at 60-70% of the style of play that I would like to play. So let's not try to do 100, but let's be really good at the 60 that we can. Let's make sure we understand the 60 and that we are really dominating in the 60% of a style of play, and I think that's where we're at right now. And looking forward to next season is, I think we all need a break at the minute. Don't want to disappoint any fans, because I know like an off season is a long period, but I do want to bring joy again next season. I want to be the one that brings energy to these players as well. And I think what I just want to do is build further up on what we did, and again, we have the right people in the building that will do their jobs in off season to make sure that we also have the right weapons in some other positions to be more competing and to be more competitive. That an injury happens, that you can actually build further up on what you were doing and not have to change elements again. I think that's where right now we're suffering. Kelly Real, I think that's what we really want to work on, having slightly more depth and making sure we can maintain that style of play.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.